Hello out there. My name is Laolu Akonde and you are on to Inside Sources. But first, here is my take for today entitled An Unserious Proposal and One More Truth. In a show of incredible cluelessness, some members of the House of Representatives are recommending the creation of additional 31 states to add to the current too large 36-state structure of our federation. If this is a joke, someone should inform the Constitutional Review Committee of the House of Representatives to stop it. It is this kind of behavior that reminds the Nigerian people that some of our politicians are not in touch with reality at all. They are detached, but they are also diminishing the regard of the people for the institution, and they are widening the trust gap with the public. There are so many of the current 36 states that have not been viable from day one. And at a time when the federal allocation is the only game in town, it is mind-boggling to have some federal representatives wasting our time and resources with this kind of a suggestion. Many among our political elite are just looking for more and more opportunities for enlarging the space for themselves and their cronies, with very scant regard for the actual welfare of their constituents. Let me explain that. With every new state, there will be a new governor, new deputy, new legislators, new federal lawmaker, new commissioners, new federal ministers, and a huge, often needless state bureaucracies. It is so sad that our federal representatives are not coming up with practical ideas on how to solve the multidimensional poverty in the land and how to end the misery of our people. They're not thinking about how to cut the size of government and divert those resources to transform education, to transform health and agriculture. They're not even coming up with ideas on how to properly fund the Nigerian police, with many DPOs unable to run their police stations with any kind of support from the headquarters. We have been told that many of those DPOs don't get any substantial amount for running costs, far less than 100,000 monthly, compared with our representatives taking about 20 million naira monthly as running costs. The committee of the House of Representatives is not showing serious concerns about those challenges to our security, but they want us to run a 67-state federation. Wow! Thank God for the headline writer of these day newspapers, who on Friday captured this incredible proposition like this, and I quote him, showing unseriousness, House targets 67 states, proposes creation of additional 31, unquote. Similarly, the Guardian newspaper also noted in its own headline that existing states have a debt overhang of over 11 trillion naira as we speak, and our representatives want to create more. Where is the leadership from the National Assembly? What did Nigerians do wrong to deserve all of this kind of shenanigans? And the next point, one more truth. Just about a week after former Governor Amechi stunned the nation with his Nigerian politicians maim, kill, and destroy to stay in power speech, yet another one has come to render an apology, specifically for the inability of the APC to deliver on its promise of change since 2015. On the occasion of his 60th birthday, former Governor Kayode Fayemi said this, and I quote, "We must apologize to the Nigerian people. We have not succeeded in achieving what we promised," unquote. He also said the idea of speaking truth to power is not so much a big deal because, as he puts it, power knows the truth beforehand. Later someday, we will have to interrogate the critical roles that Fayemi played in where we are today in Nigeria. But for now, let us wish him a happy 60th birthday and commend him for those sensible things that he has said. At least he spoke out, and more importantly, he has apologized. He has said that APC, whose fervor for change swept all of us off our feet in 2015, has not achieved what it promised. I have said that here repeatedly and elsewhere, often to the chagrin of those who don't understand the need for such candor. The least we can do is to be candid with ourselves and be candid publicly. That is, if we want to build trust among ourselves and with the people. So let President Obasanjo apologize for his role in damaging the party system in Nigeria and for calling elections a do-or-die affair. Let President Jonathan apologize for the corruption that was perpetrated under his watch. Let President Muhammadu Buhari apologize for the corruption he was meant to fight, but which got worse under his watch. Let former Vice President Atiku and former Senate President Ahmed Lawan, let them apologize for trying to undermine our national consensus on rotational presidency. And finally, let the truth-telling continue. But more importantly, let our non-political leaders also speak up. No need to remain silent. For the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we understand right now that you still have the benefit of the doubt, since you still have 2 more years to the end of your first term. Nigerians are watching you closely. Let us have a new constitution where we can truly say, we the people. And there you have it. Inside Sources will be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today we have a very special guest as we continue our conversation on the future of our great country. Our guest today is not only the current Registrar and the Chief Executive of JAMB, he is also the Secretary General of the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. One time was the National Coordinator of the Nigeria Inter-Religious Council. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sources a Professor of Islamic Studies, Professor Ishaq Olanrewaju Oloyede. Prof.
Prof, thank you.
You're welcome to Inside Sources.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming. All right, so we basically normally just start by looking at the future of the country. Most of us believe that Nigeria is going to be a great country, greater than what it is today. So if you look at where we are today, would you say we are on course to that greater Nigeria that all of us believe is our destiny?
Yes, I believe. I strongly believe that we are on the right course. There might be problems, there are problems. But I believe that with determination on the part and sincerity on the part of key players, Nigeria is great. Anywhere I've been at the international level, I mean on international platform, I'm amazed at the fact that Nigeria is a blessed country, that you look at it by any standard we are blessed. But the major problem is that we have some human defects that I think they are curable. We can solve them, but unfortunately most of the time we leave the important issues and we pursue in shadows. So for me, my straight answer to it is that Nigeria is great. Nigeria will be greater, but all of us need to be committed to the goal because we have the human and material resources to be great.
Excellent. Thank you for those opening comments. So we take it a little bit into your specialization around education, and then of course we come to the other issues. So if we just start from what the situation is in terms of the amount of spaces that are available, for instance, for university education or even higher institution in our country. Anytime you look at the numbers of people that are applying for JAMB, whether it's for the university, colleges of education or polytechnic, they run to tons of millions. And when the admission is done, you still have possibly millions that are left. Now, that has made some to argue that maybe we need more universities, more colleges of education, more polytechnics. So I wanted to ask you, where do you stand in that debate? There are those, by the way, who say that, look, we have enough already, let's just equip those ones properly. Where do you stand, Prof?
To me, it's neither here nor there. Those who are arguing that we need more universities, they have their points because they are looking at the issue from simplistic point of view. They are very simplistic in their analysis. I believe that if we expand the current, I'm talking of universities now, not talking generally about tertiary institutions. If we expand some of the universities, particularly at the federal level, they can perform better than what we have. University of Ibadan, maybe for medicine now, maybe the quota will be 200. University of Ibadan can take 600, 800. If you expand the laboratories, you expand the anatomy department, physiology department, equip them better, concentrate, give them better power, and so on. They will perform. If you establish 10 universities today, college, even if you call them specialized colleges, like the one you have in Ilaorogun, or you have in Otupo, now that you call, or Bauchi, Azari, if you establish them to be able to admit 200, they will spend 10 years. Because they presently will have 200, 300, 400. Whereas you have a university that already has 200, that once you expand, you will take what 2-3 institutions can take. I believe very strongly that when it comes to universities, my own position is that we need expansion of facilities, not creation of whatever, but it has its political advantage. Everybody wants a university in its local government. It is because the elite had destroyed everything that you can show. Universities have now become the only thing to be shown that we love you in this community, because no factory, no everything that could have been alternative or to development. So many people are arguing for university because that appears to be the only valuable thing left, and associate institutions. I think we should go back to creating more things. Look at Jeba in Kwara State. Look at so many things in Jeba. 25 years ago, you have a Nigeria Sugar Company, you have Basita. Look at all those things there that made it and lie, all of them they are all gone. So you can now see why our people are talking about university, because that appears to be the only thing remaining that you can say that people can point to. That's one. Two, statistics. Many people say things that are not correct, that cannot be supported by data. If you are talking about education in Nigeria today, says that common people mentioned on the road as being number 1, number 2, they are not number 10. If you go by the data of school sat, go by the data of degree, go by the performance but we have this fixation. And it's better for, I think Nigerians enjoy.
Can you illustrate, Prof?
No, I'm just saying that, talking generally, that people believe. I want to tell you, yes, the space we have is not sufficient in some cases, but they are not grossly insufficient as we present. I give you an example. 1.2 million, or say 1.8 million took the form, UTME form, say last year. 1.8 million
applicants,
candidates.
And UTME is for university?
For the university, polytechnics, and colleges of education, including IEA,
they're all
of them, 1.8. By the time you ask, how many of them scored 140?
Out of 400.
Out of 400. You are not talking of 50%.
Of course.
Over 1 million gone.
That didn't match up.
That did not. You see, you are talking of demand. Demand that is not... It's not effective demand. So by the time you now ask for 5 O-level mathematics and English, you are left with about 900, 800.
Interesting.
So by the time you now admit the 600, 700 out of them, one person who is ignorant to say, out of the 1.8, you have... The issue is, if you go to JAMB, go and see their dashboard, and you will see what is there. You will see that, yes, there are people, if you insist on mathematics, credit in English, credit in mathematics as part of it, would we have up to 700,000? The answer is no. You see, and I believe that we like repeating things that we have been repeating, and nobody is challenging the statistics. My own view is that we need some specialized institutions. Those specialized institutions, for the federal government, I believe they should expand those departments. Medicine, law, pharmacy, and I don't know, I don't want to say fortunately or unfortunately, nursing now. The demand for nursing is even more than the demand for, and you ask people. I
hope it's not because people want to go.
That's why I said unfortunately, because they know nursing sells anywhere.
Yeah.
So people don't even prefer, and people prefer nursing now to even medicine or to engineering. So this is the type of thing. But when you are talking about critical areas, physics, mathematics, as single honors,
science,
do we have 10%, 20% of the existing candidate the vacancy? You cannot fill 20% of the existing quota
for those
subjects, because nobody wants to go and read. Many people will not want to read mathematics. Many will, and without mathematics, without physics, without where are you going? People want to go to paradise without dying, and there is no way. There is no way they will just jump from life to life.
Peter Touch. Everybody wants to go to heaven. But none of them want to die.
Not to die. They must die before they get there. So the issue is that we need to get our priorities right. And unfortunately, the public opinion most of the time is not.
It could be misaligned. Well, that's why it's good.
So when you see people and you see somebody talking and say anywhere in the world, this man might not have traveled beyond Ghana, and he will be pontificating and saying anywhere in the world. So we have that. I think it gives us some satisfaction for people to appear to be knowledgeable about things they ought not to even dabble into.
Well, at least, but if they must dabble in, let's all do our homework very well. And that applies to all of us. We just have to do our homework very well. And that's why it's important to also have engagement with people like Peter, can also clarify some of those details. Is not readily, available. Not that it's not available anyway. It is available if you go look for it. But still on that issue, it just occurred to me now. So. You are the registrar of JAMB. So we are having, based on what you just said now, and correct me if I'm wrong, so we're having a bit of challenge in this STEM curricula. Then, if we are struggling to get people to do mathematics, sciences, and technology. So how do we, because everybody's talking about STEM, and we need it, for in the technology age that we have, information age, these courses seem to be critical. How do we manage it if we are dealing with a situation where, many of our people don't even qualify for it?
My own opinion is that as good as the STEM is, we need those STEM subjects. Right. But I believe STEAM with A in it will be better.
And the A will be arts.
Because in most cases, we have the science, and we are not utilizing the science because we lack the character. And even if we use the science effectively without character, there was an adage of a country where they were fortifying their fences to say enemies should not come in and so on, high walls, concrete and so on. But when the enemies came, they came through the doors because they simply bribed the gate man. And it came in. So the point I'm making is that, yes, we need those things, but we need those who with character. We need some level of native intelligence. We need some level of commitment to our nation. We need to be somehow annoyed I believe somebody who is
righteous
not,
indignation.
if you are not sufficiently annoyed about what is going on, what is wrong, you are not likely to have sufficient passion to confront the. I've seen one or two very serious officials. I was at a meeting yesterday, and I could see a minister who was annoyed to the level that I was even afraid that, because he was irritated by the
But that is
report.
good.
That's good.
Interest,
It's good for public interest.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that to effect the type of change that we need, one must have something to really work one up. You all need some level of madness, in quotes, to be able to say, no, I will not accept this. So having said that, I believe that we should encourage certain things. For instance, if whether science or no science, without teachers, we are going nowhere.
Yeah.
There are policies of government about special salary for teachers. Countries that are developing in the world, go and see how they rate their teachers. I'm not even talking of university and so on. Primary, secondary, university. Look at Lagos State, for example. Introduction of tutor generals. When the current president was the governor, they introduced, the Lagos State government introduced tutor general. What does that mean? You don't need to leave your classroom before you become permanent secretary, before you are given every status of a permanent secretary. And you have that in every district, educational district.
So you can remain
a teacher and you become a permanent secretary.
By being tutor general.
That's the tutor general is equivalent of a permanent secretary in all senses in Lagos.
And I didn't even know that.
No, it is. So I was in Lagos recently, and the current governor was reminding me that look, this is what we are doing.
That's great.
Are little,
and this could be in primary and secondary.
Of course.
Fantastic.
All their teachers, that's why they are not going by this moribund primary school board, all these things. They created divisions where people can aspire, be in the class, and then perform.
Wow.
But there are many, and of course, at the federal level too, you have this award that were given, the best teacher, the best vehicles, houses, and so on. I believe that if we introduce science, we implement, not even introduce, science teachers allowance, rural teachers allowance, and we make this effective, and we make it that those who are really in the classroom, we extended the retirement age of teachers by 5 years at the federal level. But how do we, instead of 60, 65, good. But we are just elongating their suffering. If we do not support it with some the teachers need to be properly paid. And I don't think we are moving sufficiently in that direction. When you go to a classroom, make the what do we call it? Where teachers stay there, we used to call it. Forgotten what we call it. Staff room. They call staff room. They are level 14, level 15, level 16, but they don't have private personal offices. But the common room that you call staff room, when we can't find good chairs, we can't find good table. I think these are the things we should do. We are just talking about STEM. Yes, we need all those things. But without the real environment, without creating the environment that promotes scholarship, that gives credit to people that are really making it happen, we are going nowhere. We are just deceiving ourselves if we think we are not going to give much to somebody from whom we expect much. So I believe that we should create a enabling environment for people who are in the sciences, who are in the technology. Why do you want to remain in the lab? Everybody. Recently, there was a university that there was vacancy for VC, and over 40 applied. So you know now that something is wrong with the system generally.
Yeah.
So a situation where everybody is looking for how to get out of the classroom. Because so there is something, going wrong. So if we make our teachers at primary, at secondary, at university level, we make it attractive for them to want to stay, and they are proud to say I'm in the classroom. I think that would be good for us. Then we can now address mundane issues of discipline, because there is no discipline that is not contributory to national development. It depends on the person. There are people who study performing arts, theater arts, and they are contributing to national development. Even to the science we are talking about will be greater than somebody who managed to have a top class in physics. In STEM, the mathematics, he cannot even relate the mathematics to day-to-day life. So I believe that we need all those disciplines. We need science and technology more now, but that is not to downplay the value of other discipline. But wherever you find yourself, it is important for one to know that you are just a subset contributing to human and national development. So not somebody who thinks that, oh, I am just what I am in my corner. You must see it in relation to national development.
Very, very, very important point. And thank you for actually raising the issue of the teachers' welfare. I think that, I want us to dig a little bit deeper on it and, flip it to even the level of their qualification. Something has also happened. Something has gone wrong with the way we do teacher training and the kinds of teachers that are especially in primary schools. We've seen quite a number of videos of when Oshiomhole was governor in Edo State, when El Rufai was governor in Kaduna, and I'm sure, similar instances. So something has happened, so that the kinds of people that want to be teachers, and of course, it goes back to the welfare now. Who wants to be poor? So let's look at it from that perspective. So how can we, bring back those days, when the teachers were the main people of influence? I mean, you are older than me, but I'm sure that even in your time, teachers were in a society. Everybody looked up to the teacher, the headmaster, the principal, the biology teacher, and people fear them in society. All of that is gone. So how do we get back there?
To me, we need to address the reward system. If you look about 25, 30 years ago, finance, accounting, finance, and so on, business admin was the in thing. If you read any of, you are already in. But it's no longer so. It shifted to medicine, MBBS, and so on. Of course, somebody who I give this example. I know of somebody who has a PhD, and he was working for the federal government of Nigeria with a PhD. He had the PhD before giving birth to a son. That son went to primary, secondary, went to university, and graduated as a medical doctor, and joined the same federal government. The mother was still earning about the mother who had PhD before the boy was born. Was earning about 1/3 of what the boy on entry into the same federal service was having. I called both of them together. I say, you can see, you are working for the same federal government. Look at your salary. Look at your son, that in your presence like this, you went to school. And
exactly.
So that was that time. You can
Serious
now
distortion.
see now that it is the reward system. If you can address the reward system, if you can make it attractive, I'm not saying create, but I believe when it comes to teachers, if you pay them well. I know when I was vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, there was a time that I called my colleagues and I said, look, if you do not, you are a lawyer, yes, good. But law is a profession like any other person. You are in medicine, you are in this. If you do not have PhD, you cannot go beyond X. It was as if the whole world will collapse. Hey, it's not done everywhere. We are in the university system today. When I see my colleagues in law at the University of Ilorin and the way they feel that, you did very well. At that time, we were enemies. They were throwing stones at me. It was when they now realized that many of them will write to me and say, when you are doing this thing, we thought, how would I hate you? I have a son who is a lawyer, so how will I hate lawyers? My doctors, they say, I say, look, I have children who are doctors, so how will I hate doctors? But I'm just telling you that do the right thing so that when it comes, well, when the time came and issues started coming, you said it. I believe a leader is somebody who just be sincere.
Yeah.
The problem we have in Nigeria is that the elites had created a situation where the masses are really doubting their sincerity. If not for that, once you are sincere about what you are doing, and you know you have your commitment to God, that I will not deceive these people. I will not extort them. What I'm going to do is going to be in their interest, whether they realize it or not. God will stand by
and
you.
I can testify, that when you were vice chancellor, it was quite a bit of a tug of war. So I'm happy to hear that, many of them now believe that you were pushing the right direction. Okay, so let's move it along to the issue of funding, especially of the university. You have referred to it. You are a former vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, and we've had a lot of turbulence. We thought we had turbulence in the early 90s, but those ones were just child's play compared to what it is that we are having now. And a lot of it goes to funding. As who normally says that, look, it's about the funding, it's about the research, it's about the atmosphere that is no longer there. Is there a silver bullet to solve the problem of university education? You have referred to the issue of TED fund. You remember that it was actually during the 1992 ASU, if you remember, sir, when ASU came up with this idea of TED fund, and President Babangida, he did that very well.
Or ETF.
Which is what is now TED fund. Yes. And all of us know now that you don't play with TED fund. So what else can we do to solve the problem of funding of tertiary education, particularly the universities? Universities are supposed to be global. We used to have professors, from outside the country, who will come and spend some time, So some of them even lived in Nigeria. I don't think that the current situation can create those kinds of circumstances. What do you have to say, Prof?
I believe that we can still re-engineer the situation to have what we think we need and what people. I don't believe that the past was totally glorious.
Of course.
They had their
ugly
side. But I want to say that compared with some of the things that we are having now, we need to look at the funding mechanism. Look, National Universities Commission, for example, should be left alone to run the universities. Hold the National Universities Commission responsible for the management of the universities. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
when NUC was in charge of the universities, and I'm saying that because I was chairman committee of vice chancellors, I was involved in even reorganizing and retooling the National Universities Commission. At a time, I was a consultant on the restructuring of the NUC. I believe very strongly that autonomy that we are talking about to our universities can be better achieved if we allow the NUC to coordinate their affairs. Now, every university goes to the National Assembly for their budget, for their defense. And the more you can pull the weight, the more will determine. In those days, you have what you call University Annual Review System, USAM. University System Annual Review System, whereby the ES of NUC will sit, the Vice Chancellor, Director of Academic Planning, and the bursar say, yes, how many candidates do you have? 60% science, 40% this, all these parameters, do you meet it? Okay, that's what will be used to determine your next year budget. Whether you know anybody or you don't know anybody does not come into it. NUC will determine based on the parameter number of students and so on. And you argue it there, and it is the NUC that will go and defend at the National Assembly and at the Ministry of Education. It gives us the opportunity for us to be practical, to be scientific. And you can, the growth, you can see. I did a paper on it recently, and I was saying that, look at when NUC was in charge, look at the percentage, the amount of money going to capital development, and look at the amount that is going to capital now. Infinitesimal. It has fallen. Because we are now having a situation that you have more support staff than those doing the overhead. So there is a problem, because NUC would say this is the pattern for every 10 academic staff. This is the support staff that will be there. This is the technical staff. You count it as if you are counting, as if British people are counting pounds. You know, they will be counting it like... Yes. So, we have smaller denominations. Yes, they will be counting it as if... So, I believe that if we allow experts to run this thing, university education is so sensitive and is so important to me that I believe very strongly that the way we are running and the way we are funding, it could get to a level that you say, University of Abuja, you are producing X, Y, number of medical doctors, member of this. What does it take to train one medical doctor? What does it take to train this? And these are the quota we have given you. And you now calculate both your capital and the current expenditure is not my business. On the basis of this. And we will have built research also into it. So instead of me now telling you that this is the amount you would, doctor you have, this is the amount you have to, there will be. When there are problems, look at what happened in Uganda. It got to a stage when there was no university. It got to a stage that they lost almost everything. Lecturers were removing air conditioners because they were not paid their salary. When they had a rethink, and they have two streams. They have the rich people's team and the poor people's team. And they just do something to say, if we write our exam, any candidate who score more than 300, let's say about 70%, any candidate who scores 70%, the only thing is that we want to, and above, want to ask you, who is your father? If your father belongs to a level higher than this, you will pay the appropriate money. But anybody at that level who cannot, there is no evidence that he has a father who can pay, we will pay
for him.
But for the others, if you score 250, to 300, you are not the best in the class.
So
if your father can pay,
fine,
this is the amount of money. And they now made it 150% of the cost.
Oh, wow.
For everybody, every candidate, for every student that is coming from a privileged house, that is scoring 250, is paying for 1.5 persons.
That is below 70%.
It is below 70%. And they now say pass mark is 50. So they did a design that the universities came up again. I am thinking, yes, many people will not want to hear about this because we are looking for...
You have been known to speak your mind.
My own opinion is that the method is not sustainable. What is sustainable is measuring your entitlement with output. Okay. There was a time that you pay for overtime. Overtime. Yeah. How do they calculate overtime? Hours after 4 p.m. Right. Whether you spend 6 hours. Yeah. What you did between 8 and 4, nobody cared about it. Even if you are sleeping, reading newspaper, and you now acquire. But that's not the way. The way to do it is that what are you expected to do? Generally. I was telling some of my colleagues in JAMB today when I was going around, I said, look, you are supposed to register 70 candidates a day. On this seat, you are sitting 70. If you register 71, that's overtime. It does not matter whether it's 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and you register. Because
it's your output that determines.
The output that determines what nobody pays for input again. They pay for output. Yeah. So what you should do, I think what we need to do is to design a method through which we will go for the meat of the matter, rather than things that can be... Everybody is assumed now to be a thief. We have gotten to a stage that everybody is assumed to be a thief. You need to prove that you are not a thief. That's not how to go. You get the point. We have to create a situation that people who are thieves will be identified properly and dealt with, rather than making it possible for people who have something to offer to be afraid that, okay, if I offer myself, people will think there is something in there for me. So you can go on and see some of these contradictions in our life. I believe, like I said at the beginning, Nigeria is great. Nigeria will continue to be great, but it requires a lot of rethinking. It does. And not just people clapping for people saying some of the things. Recently, people are talking about Sharia panel in the Southwest, and I was just smiling. I was smiling that I had never seen a level of ignorance being displayed. Sharia panel in Oyo State, somebody did a PhD thesis on it in 2007 at the University of Ibadan, which means it had been there before 2007. The person who wrote on that appraiser is a professor today in Ibadan. It's Professor Makinde. Wow. And the governor who is, coincidentally, the governor is also Makinde. So I don't think, I don't know whether they are related. But the point I'm making is that you now say, what is this issue? Because you just find out that something will just trigger something, and something that is so trivial, some people will now build, and they will now create unnecessary tension. If not ignorance, what is it?
The truth of the matter, and I'd like to also comment on that, is that, the Southwest has been able to be the good example in this country for religious tolerance. I'm a Christian, but I grew up with my cousins who were Muslims. Yes. And up to today, I mean, we used to sleep in the same bed. Yeah, of course. I have cousins that are called Wasiu, Jelili, and we are very, and this is what happens in the Southwest. So, of course, there have been times when there was a little bit of tension. I remember in University of Ibadan, the Christians in front of the chapel. But over time, Southwest has always been the good example. Even when we were in government, I remember that President Buhari made that point and said that the way that people of the Southwest have managed the tolerance is excellent. And I hope that this current debate
you see, the situation is that when you have such a situation and you do not continue to monitor what you are doing, you will be living in the past. The Muslims in the Southwest, I'm a Muslim from the Southwest, they pay psychologically for the peace and harmony that we are talking about. Take it, my brother, you are a Christian. You want to get married today. You go to a church.
Yes.
The churches are licensed by government, and to conduct marriages that are statutory marriages. One man, one wife.
Yes.
And everything. If you have any dispute within your marriage, you go to federal state government funded high court for dispute arising from the marriage.
True.
I'm from Abeokuta. My wife is from Ota Adodo area in Ogun State.
You're both in the same state.
The same state. I got married in Ilaro to compound my problem. I didn't get married in Abuja or Kano.
Okay.
If there is dispute in my marriage today, where do I go? I don't have the opportunity you have that a knowledgeable person, because I'm married according to Islamic rights, I will have to go to customary court where the customary judge knows next to nothing about my faith, about the law on the basis of which we got married. He will now use customary law to determine Islamic marriage. And the Constitution of Nigeria allows it to say where the state of assembly allows it, there should be Sharia court of appeal. There had been Sharia court of appeal in different parts of the country, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. When had that become Sharia court of appeal that is taking matrimonial matters? So when we say there is harmony, somebody is suffering in silence. Wow. It's only that when the person suffers so much and say, you say, why are you making noise? So why are you we have been happy, let us remain happy. So I think our leaders should have a rethink. For sustainable peace, there is nothing bad in Muslims having, for me, I am a Yoruba. I'm proud to be a Yoruba man. But I'm not ready to submit my being a Muslim. So I am saying that I can be a Yoruba proper, Omoko of Yoruba land, and at the same time be a first-class Muslim. So if you now see somebody saying that the head of the Islamic community says that, attend to the problem of the Southwest. And you now say, no, you are not from Southwest. So you don't have anything to say. The Islam that we practice is one religion. The Muslims in Nigeria, they are just one. It is just by design that somebody is the head of the place. Are you saying that the person who heads the Muslim community should exclude the Yoruba Muslims from talking that, I'm talking for all other persons except the Yoruba Muslim? It doesn't make sense. So the point I'm making is that it's better for us to be sincere to one another. Muslims in Southwest Nigeria, you remember, MK Abiola, may God be pleased with him. By any standard, he was an intelligent person.
Of course.
He was not a dullard.
Of course.
First class being. MK Abiola was one of the persons who started the Sharia movement in Southwest, and he funded it. And he said it clearly that it is a right that we Muslims had. MK Abiola was not you can't call him a fanatic by any standard. You want to say that anybody who says, give us our rights, is now dubbed a fanatic. Is now dubbed somebody want to destroy peace. Which peace? Is it the peace of the graveyard? So I think we should be able to tolerate one another. I I don't think we should create a situation or an environment that will look as if you have a first class. I'm from Abekta. I shouldn't talk about first class, second class, you know. You know? As if you have first class citizen there, you have second class citizen.
What kind of JAMB should we expect in the next 5 years?
Oh, JAMB that will be very, very responsive, that will be technology based and so on. You can see now our registration is going on very smoothly. And this year for the first time, because gbogbo money jagun lójú yẹ. In Nigeria, there are many breeds.
Can you tell our
I don't know how to translate it.
Every child in the eye of the mother is a warrior.
It's a warrior, yes. Everybody in the mother's room is the most excellent.
Yes.
We have so many excellent people. For the first time now, we are saying that we are enforcing 16 years minimum entry to tertiary institutions for the first time. Last year, we started it from 18 to 16. And we family say 16. But some people are saying, oh, there are people who can be exceptional. Yes, there are exceptional, but they are just 1 in a million. And people will be talking of this 1 in a million without open for the first time. 16 years is the minimum.
It used to be 18.
Yes, we are saying 16 years is the minimum. But if you know you are exceptional, register for exceptional candidate. That is, you are less than 16, but you want to be exceptional. I'm surprised. Just from Monday to now, over 2,000 had registered as exceptional. Which in the whole country, you won't have more than, at most, you have 100. So the issue
No, you said 2,000 have registered.
Yes, as exceptional. Between the Monday and now. Some of them are 10, 11, 12.
Oh, wow.
So that their children had found a way of, crooked way of jumping classes and so on. Normal children cannot grow at a rate higher than their biological age. So all these fake things that we are doing and so on. So what we are doing is that we have created what we call, if you are exceptional and you are less than 14, but what parents are now doing, they are reducing increasing the age of their children. Because yes, they are just doing also everything, changing letter of affidavit of age and so on. They are doing all those things. When the children want to go on NYC, they will also start another one to reduce. So they are just going to destroy.
To us, Prof?
The parents want to use the children to decorate their own CVs. They want to say, I'm the mother of a lawyer. I'm a father. They do not wait. They do not the love for these children. They are ready to even sacrifice this future of the children for their own ego to say, I'm the mother of my child, graduated at age 13, at age 14. Where are you going?
It's the same thing that happens on, the issue of success centers, where we are told that, everybody wants to go to a particular center because they are able to
pay for it. They beat
how
the system.
How do you try to prevent that?
I'm just telling them. I attended a meeting yesterday in the Ministry of Education. I can tell them that they are in for a fight. They have their equal. They will see what is coming out now from the Federal Ministry of Education about the issue of examination malpractice. I would just advise any parent who will not want to destroy himself or herself along with the children to just go and rethink. The system that is being planned now will expose all those things.
It's important.
And it's going to...
it's important because, when you think about these things, you just... When did we become this, very... This is not what we are. How can parents... anytime I think about the problem, how can parents be the one teaching their children how to fraudulent?
Let me tell you. There was a candidate about 2 years ago. The candidate was just sitting down. And we have a system on the CBT. If you do not write anything after 3 minutes, the system will tell you, you are not writing, you are not working. And this girl was just sitting there. So when we went to the girl, what's happening with you? Say my mother said, she said she was praying. You are praying for 10, 15 minutes. Say, when on further inquiry, say my mother said, when I get to the exam, I should not write anything. That somebody had done something, that correct answer will come into the computer. And the innocent girl was just sitting there. So at the end of the day, we thought the miracle would happen. Because, but you know what? The guy scored 17%. You know what happened? They now ask us, how did this person score 17 when he did not do anything? Because they are not educational assessors. They do not know that zero would take a minimum something. So there are many things that are ignorant. And they were asking us, if your system is working, how come that somebody who did not do anything scored 17? Because they don't know what educational assessment is all about.
So the 17 is basically a technical...
So when you are doing ranking examination, like what we do, there is something that even if you do not do anything, in the process of ranking, 17 will become 0. For instance, depending on the performance of the people. Because if the class is bad, it can be 5. It can be 4. But the more you have brilliant,
so in that case, 17 was 0.
17 was 0. But because it's called 17, because many of them don't know the intricacies of assessment.
Wow, thank you so much, Professor Oloyede, for your insight, and thank you for your contributions to national service. And thank you for being a forthright registrar. I remember when you came in 2016, you know, how you turned the situation around.
You know, I remember now we are sitting, because they were writing protests to you that that I was stealing money. I said to the vice president office that they are still on it.
You know, and you know, how you showed the nation that actually JAMB can be contributing money to the national coffers. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for your voice. And thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much. I thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And there you have it, another edition of Inside Sources. Like we always say, Nigeria will prevail. That means Nigeria will win. That is why we are here, because we will not relent. Thank you for watching. My name is Laulu Akonde. And by the grace of God, I'll see you at the next edition.